All right, guys, this is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor. We are going to get right into this AEW Rampage review. This is coming in from Ontario, California on 6/3/22. Before we get into all of that, I just want to make sure everyone does know that if you enjoy the podcast from the WWE family, the WWE podcast, you can go to Patreon and get on the basic plan for 99 cents a month. Now, I don't know about you. I can't afford a lot, but 99 cents a month, I had to do it myself. So anyway, we will, and you can catch us on everything from Spotify to iTunes to a little bit of everything. I'm sorry, I got distracted there for a second because I'm an idiot. But anyway, let's get started with a review of this week's show, and it came to us in the Young Bucks home area, their hometown, are right around, though. I think they're Rancho Cucamonga or something like that, but their family and friends were there. They did show that. So, but anyway, the match starts off. It's the Lucha Brothers against the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks, of course, start off with their basic let's handshake. Let's do the little back and forth. But they allowed Penta to do his little spiel at the start, where he got all the way to removing the glove. And if you've seen Penta, you know that he does the hand signal to the face. And then it's with the crowd, and then they do a couple other little things. And then when you really tick him off, after he does his little side-by-side, I call it the Frank Sinatra walk to the side, and then, you know, you do the shoving back and forth. Then he does the glove pull-off. Now, when you get that far, you're getting into, in a smaller arena, in his crowd, and I don't want to say the Latino crowd because I love him. So in his crowd, he gets to that point, and the crowd goes crazy. So you've got the crowd going crazy. You've got the Young Bucks, of course, in their regular state of mind of we own everything, and then everybody's here to watch us. But never mind. Sorry, going to try not to give an opinion and just give a review. Mimi, you are a genius because you can do this. I've got to learn. All right, but anyway, the Young Bucks, we get back to that. They both displayed great, their air ability, their acrobatics of jumping over one another, their crotch jump on the outside. They did all their typical moves. But normally when you see two tag teams that go against each other so much, it is really, it kind of gets stale. And with the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, it hasn't gotten to that point. And maybe it's because one team is better than the other, and I just can't figure it out. But I like the Lucha Brothers. Rey Fenix is Rey Mysterio on steroids, in my opinion. I mean, he has taken that to that leap in the luchador era. But anyway, we will go back to the match again. They've got the crowd worked up. They pan out, excuse me, into the crowd, and they've got the Hardy Boys sitting out there. They got the champs sitting out there. So they go through everything. They're giving it the big fight feel. Now, this is the kickoff match, so they're giving it the big fight feel, the MMA, the big time boxing, the HBO boxing. When they pan into the crowd, they're doing everything right. But my only problem was they get to the end of the match. They do. Oh, wait a minute. They get to the end of the match. They do a couple of moves, and then I'm trying to go into opinions. But they do some spectacular moves, and everybody's kicking out of everything, and it could have been one of the kick out matches of the century. But and usually on those matches, I have to add, usually when they have just where everybody's kicking out of everything, those are usually, there's not a dramatic lead up or anything to it. These were great kickouts. The stomp with the DDT off the rope that the Lucha Brothers did, everything was spot on. But at the end, they do the swipe the tag team partner off the apron. They get a double team in the ring, and then they pull Penta's mask off. You do not do that. Well, they did. Spoiler alert, they did. And that's pretty much, whenever you pull a luchador's mask off, that's going to be the end of the match within, I'd say, 90 seconds. Because they've got to get their face covered up and they got to get everything. And in the old days, there were actually magazines out there that would take pictures that weren't in the script or were not going along. They were trying to get a scoop. So they still go into that mode when a mask is pulled off. So then we go into Hobbs and Starks against the two jabronis from, I don't know, parts unknown. And but they did put out a promo just before the match started, and the promo was better than the match, but the promo was pretty good, I guess. But they do their promo. They come out. The jabronis come out. They whoop on them. The pose after the match. Hobbs is laying in a pose on his side in the middle of the ring, and Ricky Starks is doing his Heisman Trophy, I want to be controller of the world, look at me pose. That one just didn't work for me. But anyway, now I could go into CM Punk here right now, but I will not. I will save that towards the end because I'm trying not to be so opinionated. So we were going to the Kara Hogan, the Athena match, the debut of Athena, the fallen goddess. And, of course, Hogan comes out with Jade and the baddies, Red Velvet and everybody, Jade the TBS champ and the undefeated champ. And she's sitting ringside with her new mouthpiece, which I really think is going to work better for her than the lawyer because I just really don't like lawyers. Nothing events. I've got friends that are lawyers, and they will tell you. I will tell them during the business hours. I may not like you, but anyway, that will go back into that. We're getting into opinions, but we'll go in. The match was good. They had their Red Velvet gets involved in the match. A couple other, they get kicked upside the head. Everything goes through. But the main thing was to give a debut to Athena that is going to be a valuable opponent or a vulnerable opponent towards Jade. And I think she did a good spot with that. I think she's been underused in the past. And hopefully she'll get the right writing and get a good storyline to fit into this. But the match was good. She had her, as I said, Red Velvet got involved. Everybody got kicked upside the head. And it was a good finish. Athena did off the top rope her move. I'm not sure of exactly what she's calling it because I think I heard two different versions of the finish. So I won't mention that until I know for sure. But it was a good finish, and I think a good debut for Athena. Okay, well, I guess we can get into the House of Black. Their promo that they did, and they're able to use these guys in short spurts because they're building their own following. They're selling T-shirts, and they're selling merchandise. And when you're selling merchandise and you are successful on the mic, then you will find a spot, or they will find a spot for you. And I think that tonight on Rampage, I believe They just gave us a little glimpse because they added someone. And I know her name, and I know you know her name from the Varsity Blondes, but I'm thinking they might change her name. She might be known as something else in the upcoming weeks. I'm not sure of that, but I won't name her by name. We'll just say that the House of Black added someone to their flock, thankfully, or due to the Varsity Blondes. So there we go. Now there again, I could go into CM Punk, but no, wait a minute. I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna hold off. I'm biting my lip. We're gonna go to the Dante Martin, Scorpio Sky, the TNT champ. The Dante Martin, he comes out with Matt Sydal. And, Taz mentioned this, and I've heard, I knew they said he was a young talent, but Taz, I believe it was, mentioned, or the Masked Man, mentioned that he was 21 years old. So this guy's been killing it, at least from what I've seen, for over 2 years. And I'm sorry his brother's gotten hurt, but, he's been killing it. And he hadn't even been able to buy a beer. So, thankfully he is now 21 and he can buy himself a cocktail at his pleasure, whether he decides to or not. But Dante Martin, Scorpio Sky, Dante comes out with Matt Sydal, and Scorpio Sky comes out with Ethan Page and Dan Lambert of American Top Team. And normally Dan Lambert seems to do the bulk of the talking. But, to tell you the truth, he kind of did the lead-in. He did a good start to where whoever's following him. Now, Paul Heyman is one of the best at it, that he can give you 3/4 of a paragraph and leave 2 lines for someone else, and it makes them seem relevant in the whole conversation. But this is not tonight. Dan Lambert, did his little start. Ethan Page came in, gave his little bit, and then Scorpio Sky ended it like it should be. And they're building something there. But as far as the match, I'm just not. This could have been a lot better match, especially knowing what they had to deal with the we might as well use the phrase that's been thrown around, the pipe bomb that was thrown last week. They know that they're going to have eyes on this show, and people are definitely going to be watching and listening. So the match was good. I'm not trying to say it wasn't a good match. It just, I think, could have been more. Scorpio is such a great wrestler. And Dante, you're either going to get fantastic, or you're going to get, man, he almost had that one. Or did you see he was just a little late on that? But, man, it could have looked so. But you got a good, steady match tonight. The TKO by Scorpio wins the match. And they give him a little airtime towards the end, and they, that was okay, and it was a C ending on a B show, in my opinion. Oh, there we go, back to my opinion. But anyway, let's get back to what I've been biting my lip. I'm now, I think, let me check. Okay, no blood. All right, I've been biting my lip over this, the CM Punk. What do you do if you're Tony Khan? You got your face of the place, CM Punk. And I'm going to use this reference quite a few times, but is it a work? But I don't know if anybody saw my tweet earlier today at Memphis Mark for you. But I just put out what I got off Twitter. Nothing that I got exclusively, but it was the ending of the taping of last week's show, where MJF drops his "your mark" comment, and it shows the back of him where he's doing his camera shot. And then he gets through and he looks over at the producer. Is this a work? But he looks over at the producer. The producer says, hey, yeah, cut your mic off. He throws the mic down, picks the scarf up. And about this time, one boot on, one boot off. Here comes CM Punk down the ramp. And he's saying pretty much what the... I saved you a bleep there, Matt. But he's coming down pretty much say what the hell's going on. What's going on. And MJF sees him, looks at him. Punk's got his hands in the air, side to side up above his head like, hey, what? And MJF looks like he's disgusted, doesn't want to hear from him, doesn't want to hear from everybody. CM Punk keeps approaching. He gets close to the ringside. MJF jumps through the ropes. CM Punk proceeds to go to the side of the ring towards him. MJF looks back one more time, jumps over the barrier, and heads through the crowd. The security staff looks stunned. Is this a work? And so everybody looks at a state of shock. The cameras pan back off, and that leads into tonight. So CM Punk walks down to the ring with a limp, noticeable limp. He has been wearing a shirt that has had political slogans or his opinion, not his normal buy my shirt, here's my shirt kind of deal. He walks down, white shirt on, looks worried, looks a little haggard. I'm sorry, I'm a little old with my references. Looks a little worn or tattered. And then says he's got good news and bad news. Then you see right around this time somewhere, my timing is not going to be perfect, but you see somewhere in this time that he has a tear to the eye, wipes a tear away. But he pretty much says, that he would go until the wheels fell off, and pretty much, hey, a freaking wheel fell off. And the way he walked out, and if they're going to relinquish his time on air and probably put him on commentary for a month or so, then he is hurt. They would not take this man off a title run if there wasn't a problem. And that's not my opinion. That's business. They just put him in this position. And it looks like what we're getting ready to deal with is a tournament, because he said, hey, I wore go to the wheels well off, and a wheel fell off, and there was a bump in the road, and he kept, pretty much, trying to make sure he got the point across that the get back is bigger than the setback. And he never used the word relinquish or I'm going to evade or a banquet or whatever. I'm going to, give up the title. He never said that. But you know what's got to happen if he's hurt. The standard rule is 30 days, no defend. You've got to defend in 30 days. So if that is where we are, then we're getting the wheels of the riding of AEW into override, into overtime, because they have probably laid out a path, no telling how many months ahead with Punk in the headlining and riding. And then all of a sudden, in a matter of seconds, that's what can happen. And when you tell me that wrestling isn't real, I might can tell you who's going to win that match by the lead up to it and the promos and everything else. I might give you an educated opinion, but I'm not the one in there getting my ass hit or getting thrown around off that ring. And let me tell you, it don't take much. I have literally had someone throw me, hip toss, and I've been thrown off the top rope and the middle rope. And I knew it was coming, and I was told how to land. That hurts. So when these guys get out here for, they're not having to do 300 days like they did in the other organization, but they're out there pumping along for a lot of time. And a lot of these guys do independent shows. They go to New Japan, so these guys are working a lot of days. And you, over repetition alone, you're going to get hurt. But when you're being thrown and had projectiles forcibly thrown into your body like a chair, or being thrown into a table, or, man, just landing wrong. Back when I was growing up, these wrestlers did not do these high-flying moves. And these guys have got weight and size to them, and these ankles, knees, these joints, they do tear up. So, in my opinion, it's not a work that CM Punk is hurt, and that they're going to have to do a tournament. So now we've got a whole new a thing to think about. The tournament. Who are they going to give it to? Bryan Daniel? Are they going to Jon Moxley? Are they going to go the other way and go towards a Jericho? Are they, who are they? Wardlow? Hey, who are they going to write the next storyline on? Because I think it all just got thrown in the trash with an injury. Now, CM Punk can stand around and do some talking. They're using the gentleman from the Acclaim. They're bringing him out in a wheelchair with Billy Gunn, pushing him down there and still allowing him to use the word ass boys. So, and he's hurt. So are they going to wheel CM Punk out after surgery? I don't know. Well, I guess that what makes this wrestling such a good poor man's soap opera, I used to call it, or a countryman soap opera, or whatever you might refer to it as. You don't know, and we're going to have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much the review for 6/3/22 on AEW Rampage. And I thank everyone for putting up with me for a little while. Mimi, I'm sure you'll be back here in a few weeks. We're going to try to do somewhat of a half-ass job to what you do, and hopefully we won't lose your audience. So, guys, remember to spay and neuter. And as always, this is Memphis Mark, and you know what? I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.